This is what happens when you stop taking creatine after 50. If you're over 50 and thinking about stopping creatine, or you already have, this is for you. A lot of people assume that once creatine is gone, everything falls apart. Muscles shrink overnight, energy crashes, and strength disappears in a matter of days. That fear keeps many people supplementing out of anxiety instead of understanding. But the truth is a lot more interesting and far less dramatic than most people think. Creatine doesn't create strength out of thin air, and stopping it doesn't suddenly erase all your progress. Your body already makes creatine on its own, and muscle doesn't vanish just because a supplement is removed. What really happens is a gradual shift, not a collapse. Small changes in energy, hydration, and performance happen over time, and most are completely manageable, especially after 50. In this video, we'll break down exactly what happens when you stop taking creatine, point by point, so you know what's normal, what's not, and what actually matters for staying strong and healthy. But before we begin, drop your name and the city you're watching from in the comments below. Alright, let's get started. Number 1, you don't lose muscle overnight. Let's kill the biggest fear first, because this one causes unnecessary anxiety. Stopping creatine does not cause instant muscle loss. Creatine doesn't magically build muscle on its own. It simply supports training, movement, and recovery. The real driver of muscle maintenance, especially after 50, is staying active and eating enough protein. When you stop taking creatine, your muscles don't suddenly shrink or weaken overnight. What usually changes first is muscle fullness, not muscle tissue. Creatine pulls water into muscle cells, so when supplementation stops, that extra water gradually leaves. Muscles may look slightly less pumped or feel less full, which can be misinterpreted as muscle loss. In reality, the muscle fibers themselves remain intact as long as you keep using them. Strength and size are maintained by regular movement, resistance training, and proper nutrition, not by a supplement alone. Even without creatine, your body continues to produce its own supply naturally from amino acids and food. The key takeaway is simple. Stopping creatine doesn't undo your hard work. As long as exercise and diet stay consistent, muscle stays too. What disappears is mostly water weight and that temporary fullness, not real strength or functional muscle. Number 2, muscles may look less full. This is where people get confused, and it's completely understandable. Creatine pulls water into muscle cells, which makes muscles look fuller, firmer, and slightly bigger. When you stop taking creatine, that extra water doesn't disappear overnight. It gradually leaves over the following days or weeks. As that happens, muscles can look a bit flatter or softer. This change is often more noticeable after 50, when hydration levels and muscle fullness already fluctuate more than they did years ago. Many people see this visual change and immediately assume they're losing muscle or getting weaker. But this is cosmetic, not functional. The muscle tissue itself hasn't gone anywhere. Strength, coordination, and muscle fibers remain intact as long as you keep moving and training. What's changing is hydration inside the muscle, not the muscle itself. This misunderstanding causes a lot of unnecessary panic. People restart creatine out of fear, not because they actually need it. In reality, a slight drop in fullness doesn't mean a drop in health or performance. With proper hydration, protein intake, and regular activity, muscles continue to work just fine. Understanding this distinction is important. A flatter look doesn't equal weakness, and stopping creatine doesn't undo your progress. It simply changes how water is distributed in your muscles, nothing more. Number 3, strength may dip slightly. It's subtle, but noticeable for some people, especially after 50. Creatine helps regenerate ATP, your body's quick energy source that fuels short bursts of effort. When you stop taking creatine, your muscles rely a bit more on your natural creatine production and stored energy alone. What this usually feels like isn't weakness, but slightly less snap. Standing up quickly, climbing stairs, carrying heavier groceries, or doing the first few reps of an exercise may feel a bit harder. Movements still happen, but they may require more conscious effort. This change doesn't mean your strength is disappearing. It simply means the extra energy buffer creatine provided is gone. Your body is still capable, it just isn't being assisted anymore. Many people don't notice this at all, while others feel it during fast or explosive movements. The key point is that this effect stabilizes. Your body adapts to its baseline energy production and performance levels out. Regular movement, resistance training, and adequate protein help minimize any difference. Stopping creatine doesn't cause an energy crash or sudden decline, it just removes a small performance advantage. Understanding that distinction helps you decide whether creatine is worth continuing without fear or exaggerated expectations. Number 4, recovery can feel slower. This one sneaks up on people because it doesn't hit all at once. Creatine supports faster recovery by helping muscles replenish energy and manage training stress more efficiently. When you stop taking it, that recovery support gradually fades. What many people notice is that muscle soreness sticks around a little longer. Fatigue after workouts or long days of activity may linger into the next day instead of clearing quickly. This doesn't mean your body is suddenly struggling, it's just working without that extra recovery buffer. After 50, this change can feel more noticeable because recovery already takes more time than it did years ago. Small delays in recovery stand out. More when sleep, hormones, and overall resilience aren't as forgiving. A workout that once felt easy to bounce back from might now require an extra rest day. The important thing to understand is that this is not damage or decline. It's a shift in how fast your system resets. Adjusting training volume, spacing out sessions, prioritizing sleep, and staying hydrated can offset most of this difference. Stopping creatine doesn't break recovery, it simply slows it slightly. With smart adjustments, most people adapt just fine and continue progressing without any real downside. Number 5, mental sharpness may change. Creatine doesn't just help muscles, your brain uses it for energy too. Creatine plays a role in supporting ATP production in brain cells, especially during mentally demanding or stressful situations. Because of that, some people notice subtle mental changes after stopping supplementation. This isn't dramatic or alarming. There's no sudden brain fog crash or loss of clarity, but if you were benefiting cognitively, you might notice slightly reduced focus, slower mental endurance, or feeling more mentally tired by the end of the day. Tasks that required sustained attention may feel a bit more draining. After 50, this can stand out more, simply because mental energy is something people value and monitor more closely. When that small edge disappears, it becomes noticeable, not as a problem, but as a difference. It's important to understand that this doesn't mean creatine is necessary for brain health. Your body still produces creatine naturally, and food sources continue to contribute. Sleep quality, hydration, stress management, and movement have a far greater impact on cognitive function than any supplement. Think of creatine's cognitive effect as a mild support, not a crutch. If you stop and notice a small dip in mental stamina, that's information, not a warning sign. Number 6, endurance usually stays the same. Here's some good news that reassures a lot of people. Creatine mainly supports short-burst strength and power, not long-duration endurance. Because of that, most aerobic activities feel almost exactly the same after you stop taking it. Walking, cycling, light jogging, swimming, or steady-state cardio usually don't change much at all. Your heart, lungs, and aerobic energy systems are doing most of the work in these activities, and creatine doesn't play a major role there. So if your main goal is staying active, moving daily, or maintaining cardiovascular health, stopping creatine rarely affects how you feel. Many people worry their stamina will suddenly drop, or that they'll tire more quickly during longer sessions. In reality, endurance capacity is far more influenced by consistency, pacing, and overall fitness than by creatine levels. As long as you keep moving regularly, stamina tends to stay stable. This is especially encouraging after 50, when walking and light cardio are often the foundation of staying healthy. Stopping creatine doesn't take that away. You may notice small differences in strength or recovery, but your ability to stay active day to day usually remains unchanged. Number 7, your body doesn't crash. No withdrawal, no shock, no danger. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of stopping creatine. Creatine is not addictive, and your body doesn't become dependent on it. When you stop taking it, nothing dramatic happens. Your body already produces its own creatine naturally from amino acids, and that process continues as normal. When supplementation stops, stored creatine levels in muscle slowly return to baseline over a few weeks. There's no crash, no rebound effect, and no sudden drop in health or performance. There's also no hormonal disruption involved. Creatine doesn't interfere with testosterone, cortisol, or other hormones in a way that would cause withdrawal symptoms. That's why stopping creatine doesn't trigger mood swings, energy crashes, or physical discomfort. What you experience is simply a gradual adjustment. Any benefits you noticed, like faster recovery or improved short burst strength, may slowly fade to your normal level. But nothing breaks, and nothing gets damaged. This is especially reassuring after 50 when people are rightly cautious about supplements. Creatine is one of the few you can stop without fear. Understanding that makes the decision to continue or stop a calm, informed choice, not a stressful one. Number 8. Lifestyle matters more than supplements. This is the real takeaway, and it matters more than any single supplement. After 50, what keeps you strong, capable, and independent isn't creatine alone. It's movement, sleep, nutrition, and consistency. Those are the foundations. Everything else is secondary. Creatine doesn't create strength out of thin air. It enhances what you're already doing. If you're walking regularly, doing light resistance training, eating enough protein, and sleeping reasonably well, creatine can amplify those efforts. You recover a bit faster, movements feel a little easier, strength gains come more smoothly. But without those habits, creatine does very little. No supplement can replace regular movement or make it up for chronic sleep loss and poor nutrition. That's why some people say creatine did nothing for them, not because it failed, but because the foundation wasn't there. Used correctly, creatine is a powerful support tool. Used in isolation, it's just powder and water. After 50, the goal isn't chasing shortcuts, it's supporting habits that keep you strong for years. Creatine fits into that picture when the basics are in place, not as a replacement, but as a boost to what truly matters. So what really happens when you stop taking creatine after 50? You don't fall apart. You don't lose everything you gained. You simply lose a support tool that made strength, recovery, and energy a bit easier. For some people, that difference matters. For others, lifestyle habits carry them just fine. The key is understanding what creatine does and what it doesn't. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever stopped taking creatine? Did you notice any of these changes, or none at all? If you want a follow-up video on whether you should restart creatine after 50, how long to cycle it, or the safest way to use it, long-term, hit like, subscribe, and tell me what you want next. I'll see you in the next video.